Welcome to How to Play Gatekeeper Part 2. So hopefully at this time you understand the base rules, you know how to play the simple version, you know how to play with your mom, but this time let me show you how to go one step further in your game. So the first thing that we need to introduce is dragons. So right here you will see the dragon roll card and the 4 dragon tokens. So what are dragons? Well, first of all, let me just show you where to put them. So the first thing you're going to do is take your dragon tokens and put them into the corner of the board. So I try to keep the colors near each other, but it really doesn't matter where you put them. So now that you have your dragon tokens in position, let's talk about how you get one. There's 2 ways of getting dragons in Gatekeeper. The first way is by rolling a 6. If you roll a 6, choose a dragon that's available and not already taken. If all the dragons are taken, choose any one you want. It works the same way as shields. So in this case, I rolled a 6 and I'm going to take this dragon. The second way of getting a dragon is by forfeiting your gate attack. So like we talked about in part 1, where your turn consists of 2 parts. Part 1, trait roll. You roll what you have and you do what your card says. Step 2 is choosing a gate to attack and rolling again. But instead, you can say, I don't want to attack a gate this turn. And instead, you forfeit that gate attack to take a dragon. So now that you know the 2 ways to get dragons, let me tell you what they do. Each dragon does the turn bonus of the associated gate. For example, red does deal 1 damage to any gate. Green does gain 2 HP. Blue gives 2 health to any gate. And finally, black deals 2 damage to any player. So let's see how this looks practically in a game. So for example, let's say I rolled a 6. So then I would immediately pick that dragon and I lose my turn. That's it. But let's say it comes back to my turn again. So remember, your turn has 2 parts. So step 1, trait roll. So as soon as I roll, I am now good to use my dragon at any point in that turn, or I could save it for the next or whatever. This is what using a dragon looks like. I would say, I'm using my green dragon, and now I gain 2 health. Another way to use your dragon is, let's say that I'm not going to attack a gate this turn. So I say I'm sacrificing my gate attack and I choose to take the green dragon. Since I didn't lose my turn, I can actually use the dragon that same turn and immediately go up to now 14 health. Or maybe I decide I'm just going to hold on to it for future use. I want to show you something really cool. So let's say that you save your dragon. Well, this is a technique we like to call the double dragon turn-in. So what does this look like? Let's say I do my trait roll, and then here it comes. I decide I'm not going to do my gate attack. So what I can do is use my dragon, gain 2 health, and then since I'm sacrificing my gate attack, I get it right back. And let's say I want to use it a second time. And now I go up to 14, gaining 4 health in 1 turn. That's a double dragon turn. The last thing you need to know about dragons is throughout the game, you'll start collecting them. But what happens if you have 3? Well, if you have 3 dragons, you have the ability to, at any point, even when it's not your turn, turn in 3 dragons for a dragon roll. Now, a dragon roll is kind of your last resort. But let me tell you, the hypest time that you will have is when someone rolls a dragon roll. So what happens? After turning in all 3 dragons, you will take your card, and as you can see, the only thing that works is rolling a 5. So now, let's say I turn in my 3 dragons. Here I go. 3, 2, 1. So that time, nothing happened. I rolled a 4. But if I do happen to roll a 5, and I'm not going to show you what that looks like today, but let's say that you did, then you get to call out another player playing and say 1v1 me. You both pick up your dice, you roll them both, the loser is dead and out of the game. And you kill them, getting everything that they have. I've already shown you 8 of our keepers in the first part. Now, as fun as they are, Gatekeeper only gets that much better when you unlock the rest of the characters. One perfect example is Bayan. Now, Bayan and a lot of these other characters have passives. So you can see on the bottom of the card there, it has a passive. So Bayan has a passive of anytime someone else gains health, she gains health. For example, let's say Penguin on his turn decides to turn in his gain 2 health dragon. When he does that, not only will he go to 12 health, but because of Bayan's passive, I will go from 10 up to 11. There are so many different passives in our characters, and some keepers are more complex than others, and it may not be quickly understood by the table at what something does. So I encourage you, always go to our website and click on a character for specific rules. But let's say even that doesn't cover it. Well, you can always go into our Discord and ask a question right there, but if you don't have time for that, what we say at Gatekeeper is the hypest option wins. So at that point, just vote for whatever option makes the most sense for the table and go for it. It's time to get hype. It's time to count down from 3, from 5. Let's get hype. Now in your Gatekeeper set, you'll have noticed 2 more dice that we haven't talked about yet. Well, this dice, this small D6, we use for counting. You can use this for really anything that you see fit, but a perfect example is for characters like Penguin. So as you can see, when Penguin rolls a 1, 2, or 3, it charges up a Penguin punch. So now his Penguin punch is at 2. So you can use the counter dice for anything really, but like we just showed, maybe you just want to help keep track of whatever things you're at. We have another character that gains snowballs that you can use to damage other players. So whatever you want to use with it, go ahead. But the last dice I want to show you is the dink dice. Now this is a 4-sided die, and at any point you can always decide to use it. Now it might be a little more niche in terms of when you might want to use this, but let's say you purposely want to do less damage to a gate. Maybe you purposely want to lose a battle. It might not always make sense why, but you always have the option to roll a bit weaker when you see the strategy fit. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is something that makes Gatekeeper truly, truly special. So during the game, you can't attack your own gates, you attack other gates. Now there are some characters that allow you to do this with their passives, but for the most characters, you don't attack your own gates. But let's look at a specific example. So here we have Penguin, and he just did his trait roll, and now he has 2 on his power punch. But he has his turn bonus. So the thing that you need to understand is that all turn bonuses and abilities and dragons and things like that can be used even on your own things. So for example, let's say that the Penguin decides to use his own turn bonus on his own gate. So what does that do? Well, let me show you. So not only does it reset to full health, but you also get all of the abilities as if you just got the gate for the first time. So now you get the initial again and the turn bonus. So now he decides, oh, I want to do another 4 damage to the center. So now it goes down from 6 to 2. Then he decides to use his turn bonus again, deal 1 damage to any gate. He puts it to 1. And then lastly, he decides to turn in a dragon and to break the center. And after breaking the center, it goes back to 5, and now he has to roll for victory. Now you know everything you need to know to play Gatekeeper at its fullest extent. Now some of the strategies you might need to learn along the way, and stay tuned for strategy guides and things like that. But for now, it's ready for you to go. So let's just recover real quick what we just went over. So remember that you have counter dice, dink dice, characters have passives and fun abilities that happen even when it's not your turn. With gates like the Gate of Destruction, you can deal damage to your own gates to recapture them and get the initial and turn bonus again. And then lastly, you have the Dragon Roll, where throughout the game you can sacrifice gate attacks, and when you lose turn, gain dragons. You can use them for fun bonuses, but you can also collect 3, turn them all in, and risk it all. Maybe you'll roll the 5. And if you roll the 5, 1-on-1, do you live or do you die? Thanks for watching part 2 of How to Play Gatekeeper. And remember, when you lose, that's the risk of Gatekeeper.